Hello everybody, welcome to the Week 3 stream of the Academy at NALCS. I'm Jim Morrison, the head analyst for EchoFox. On my right here, I've got
Josh Mabry, positional coach for EchoFox.
And on my left,
EchoFox mid-laner, Tanner DeMonte.
We've got a double header today for our guys. We're playing against TSM and C9. We've already gotten into draft here, as you guys can see, so what are you guys thinking already going into this match against TSM?
So far they've banned both like Lucian and Shen. I think Lucian's a pretty good ban on blue side because Lucian on purple side with like counter pick support and like since he's so flexible, it's like a really strong pick. Same with Shen, it's also a flex pick, especially with Adrian on the team. He's like a big Shen player. We banned Nocturne and Talia. Those are both like really strong first picks and common bans on red side. I don't know. Do you have any comments, Tanner?
I mean,
standard ban so far.
I mean, we're gonna win.
Yeah,
it looks like I can already tell from the draft. So.
I mean, our guys have had a pretty rough start to the season. What do you think they need to do this game to make it better, or like to turn things around?
I mean, our academy team always seems like they're practicing well. So I think now that they have like the first 2 weeks out of their system, it's gonna be pretty easy for them. I mean, I'm not expecting them to play bad or anything. Like I think so far it just looks like they're really nervous on stage.
Yeah, kind of like what we were saying last week on the stream was like we have like a ton of individual talent on the team. It's just a matter of time before like all our players like start feeling more comfortable in like a competitive environment and playing together. Nobody's like too worried about this season. Everyone really still has a good attitude and everything.
I mean, they've also been playing a lot extra too. They've been doing like extra night blocks and whatnot to try and improve and fix all that up. So.
Mm-hmm.
Also, shout out to Papa Chow in the chat there.
Thank you.
What's up, Pop Show?
So TSM first pick Zoe, and Aurelia is still up. So there's a good chance we might see Aurelia versus Zoe this game.
I mean, there's a lot of people that actually think like Zoe first pick is kind of a bait. I don't know if you want to go into that, Tanner.
Aurelia versus Zoe? Like what side?
What do you think of that
Zoe
matchup?
first pick? Zoe first pick.
I mean, NA is still just banning Zoe for the most part, but like other regions are like leaving it open because you can play like Yasuo and Aurelia into it. I know that Yasui really likes playing like Aurelia, like they just locked it in there, so he really enjoys playing that matchup because, I mean, it's basically a skill matchup, and Yasui has always been known as like a player that is extremely skilled like as an individual, so I mean, I think obviously this is good for us. And then having Sejuani on top of it basically means he can play however he wants for like all of early game, so I think it's good for sure.
TSM's blind picking Aatrox here, which is kind of weird. There's a lot of picks that do really well into it, so I'm kind of surprised to see that. There's Kennen, and I mean, it looks like Nintendo just wants to play Ornn, but there's a lot of picks that could have punished the Aatrox a lot harder.
I mean, they're probably assuming that we're just like a mid-boss centric team, and maybe Nintendo doesn't really have the counter picks ready for Aatrox, so they're more comfortable blinding it. But I mean, so far it seems like a pretty standard draft from both sides.
Yeah, both teams. I'm just comfortable tank jungles.
I don't know how I feel about Skarner getting traded for Sejuani. Personally, I feel like Sejuani's a little more of a stronger pick, but
yeah, especially since her changes. Just quickly, I want to make sure everybody knows we have a new Twitter for Echo Fox this season. It's at EchoFoxLol. And after our game 2 against C9, we will have Lawrence, aka Lost, on here to do an interview. So if you guys want to send questions to him or anything, hashtag #AskEchoFox at our new Twitter, and we'll make sure to ask them to him afterwards. Just kind of going through some second tier bans here. Nothing really crazy right now. What do you guys think Echo Fox needs to do to try and like get a 1-up on TSM here? I mean, you played against TSM all last split. What do you think is like their big weakness, especially now that they've changed their top laner in jungle?
I mean, last year their team was much different because they were playing with Grig and Brandini, so they were pretty topside centric. I haven't seen too many of their games this split, but I'm assuming with Mike Young and Pyke Lord in, they're changing their strategy a bit. I'd assume they're going to play more on bot and mid now because, I mean, Mr. Ral is like a longtime veteran, and Ablazolve also has a full split under his belt now. Yep. And, I mean, they're both really good carries, so I'm assuming they'd play more towards bot side, especially with these champs, but since they locked in Aatrox, it also is kind of weird. Like, I feel like they have a lot of places, and they also lock in a very aggro bot lane if they go Alistar here.
So they kind of need to be in a lot of places at once.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Young's definitely going to have a lot to do this game. Pyke is interesting as well.
Without us showing a melee support.
I feel like it's weird that we 4-pick Kai'Sa. Like, Kai'Sa's really strong right now with the funnel strategy, but just like as a champion in bot lane, it's really abusable. And if we do want to play around bot, like just picking such a weak champion, like, and especially if we lock in like Kai'Sa TK, it's going to be hard to play around a lane like that.
So right now, both these teams have had a pretty poor start off to the season. Why do you think that TSM's done so poorly? Do you think it's due to the fact that Brandini and Grig are no longer on the team, or?
I mean, it seems like they don't have an identity from the games I watched. Before, it was very obvious that Brandini was who they were going to play through. But now it's like they have a lot of talented individuals, but it almost seems like no one is really stepping up. Like, I think Mike Young is doing his job in most of the games and getting them a lead, but then they don't have they don't have someone to really open up the game. And I think that is similar to our team as well. Like, our team, we have insanely talented individual players, but we don't have anyone there to really step up and like open up the game and be there to like say we're doing this now and we're going to win the game through this. So I think honestly the matchup is very balanced on both sides.
Yeah, so finishing draft, I mean, it looks like our comp, we really are going to need to play through mid and like get the Aurelia ahead again. Like I said before, you can't really play off Kai'Sa, Tom Kench, bot lane, and Ornn. I mean, I feel like that's just going to be a farm lane top. Like, maybe you can get a gank or two early, but it's not going to really impact the game. Like, what's really going to win you the game is getting Aurelia ahead in that Zoe versus Aurelia matchup. So
you're saying that matchup's really important. Do you want to go a little more in depth on the matchup, Tanner? Like, who has the advantage in that matchup? And like, when are like the tipping points?
I mean, the matchup's super skillful. Like, I think Zoe will win early, assuming that she doesn't get hit by the Aurelia E. Basically, all of Aurelia laning is dependent on if she can land her E or not. Like, you'll see in this matchup, Aurelia will kill the Zoe like repeatedly if the Zoe is getting hit by the E skill shot. So it's like very skillful, and I think with our draft, we have to play through mid. So if Obezal recognizes that before the game even starts, I think we might have a rough time with it. Because if he's just playing accordingly, he'll take CS loss, and then they technically have 2 side lanes that are winning. So it's gonna. I think mid lane will be the focus this match for sure.
And then even our bot lane's going to be kind of rough. I don't know if you want to speak to that at all, but Kai'Sa versus Brand.
I mean, you just have to look at the champions. Like, Brand is definitely like a way stronger laner than Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa's kind of just in the game to scale, and like normally if you have a weak laner like Kai'Sa, you want to pick like a stronger support to kind of like help her in the lane phase. But Tahm Kench is also a defensive support who only has like a lane presence if they have the stronger AD matchup.
Right.
And so since both of our champs are weaker than their counterparts, it's just kind of like a doomed lane unless they misplay really hard.
Right.
I feel like the Skarner pick from TSM is also kind of weird. Like, I don't really know which lane that's going to be able to impact, because I feel like Skarner in the 2v2 mid isn't that good.
It's not going to be that impactful, I feel.
Yeah. I don't know what you think, Tanner, but I feel like Skarner isn't that useful.
Yeah, it's a little weird because he kind of just wants to farm up, I guess.
Yeah.
But then his lanes also need a lot of help. I think if they do get to 6, though, it's like going to be dangerous for our team since we do need to scale later. Like, Ornn is not going to really do much until like level 9, right?
Yeah.
Same with bot lane. Like, bot lane will probably have a rough time, but I mean, our players are hella good, so like.
I mean, it really feels like we're playing for more of like a late game type.
Who can you
thing,
even
right?
Skarner ult? Because like Aurelia can buffer her W, and then you have TK and Kai'Sa. Like, Ornn Sejuani, you're not going to Skarner ult them. It just seems like a really bad pick, to be honest. But we'll see.
Also, just want to give a few shout outs to some of the people in chat we see here. Shout out to Ellie, one of the first people that helped start Echo Fox. Love you, man. And then also Aku, big fan. Love you, man.
I mean, Ellie's in the chat, but he still will lose to me in ping pong. So.
I mean, here he tells you you're clanning around, bro.
That's pretty messed up, actually. He's only talking now because we're not in person. So
yeah,
he
yeah.
knows that,
if he was here, he would never say that.
I mean, he feels safe behind the monitor, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if he was here, he would just know that he would get absolutely schooled in ping pong. So.
For those of you who don't know, here in the Echo Fox studio, everybody's really big fan of playing ping pong. Everybody's really competitive with playing ping pong. And Ellie would talk a lot of shit with some of the players where he's just kind of like really competitive with them. And he actually lost to Altec right before our playoff match. And everybody kind of joked that that's why we did so well in Miami, is because Altec just beat Ellie and it was like his big rising up. So real quickly, just before we get into the game here, Josh, what do you think TSM's win condition is going into this game? If you're looking at the draft real quick.
I mean, I think TSM's win condition is like they have to win early through bot. I mean, maybe Zoe gets ahead, but I don't really see that happening. So it's going to be mostly through the side lanes, like Aatrox and like Aatrox versus Ornn. Aatrox needs to get ahead, and then like pressuring the bot lane as well. Like maybe fighting over early drags, taking early tower, and transitioning that lead is how TSM will win. And then for our side, it's just playing through early and Sejuani and scaling into late game as well.
Yeah, you want to add anything onto that, Tanner? For what do you think Echo Fox really needs to do right here just to give them the edge and win and get our first win on the board?
I mean, they definitely need to play through mid. I think that's obviously going to be the vocal point this game. We had a game in the past, I think it was like game 2 for our team, where it was a similar team comp where we had Aurelia, and I mean, we worked with Yasui through this, but Yasui, he got a massive lead. I believe it was versus TLA. Like, he was up 40 CS at like 10 minutes, which is absolutely insane. But we weren't able to capitalize on that. And I think if we can repeat something like that again, but this time actually fully open up the game through it, we're going to be able to win very easily.
So we should be able to get into the game just in a couple minutes here. Any other thoughts you guys have real quickly before we get in, though?
Let me see the draft one more time.
And also, just before, this season's a little bit different how we're going to have 6 teams in playoffs. How do you think, like right now, that's impacting the players thinking about that? Like, Echo Fox is 0-4, TSM's 1-3. Do you think like that's playing a big thought into their mind where like they might not make it into this, even though there's more teams?
I mean, I think it takes some pressure off. Like, if you're 0-4, like last bit, for instance, if you're 0-4 at the start, it probably felt pretty doomed because you have to be top 4 to make playoffs.
Yep.
But now they're 0-4, and they just need to keep working through it, right? Obviously, this weekend is very big. They're playing 3 games, so like they can't afford to actually lose more games. Because, I mean, after this weekend, if they do lose, it's like pretty doomed. Like, they need to just, I mean, there's not as much pressure. Like, they're not going into these games saying like, if we lose, it's like really screwed. But it's also there within like they need to win, because if they don't make top 6, it's like really sad, because now they know it's easier to like actually qualify this split.
I mean, this split is like longer too, isn't there? There's like 16 or 18 games or something like that.
It's the same number of games. It's just that because of Rift Rivals, there's 2 weeks that are called Super Weeks, where 3 games are played instead of 2, to make up for the fact that everybody's going to be on a hiatus from LCS next week due to the Rift Rivals. Real quickly too, I just want to kind of touch on TSM. We talked about this earlier. They have 2 new players for their team. Mike Young's not really new, I guess, but do you want to kind of just talk about Mike Young on this academy team now that he's been kind of moved down from the LCS?
I mean, Mike Young and Grig have very different like play styles, I guess. Grig is more of like he's gonna outsmart the enemy and he's gonna get himself strong, where Mike Young seems more like a team player.
Oh, we're actually in the game now. But keep going on your thought.
I mean, for Mike Young, I don't know how well he will work with TSM Academy right away, because I think he's a player who might need more time to like really get used to his teammates. He's been playing for 2 weeks now, so what I'm saying could be wrong, but I think he's a player that strives with like length of how long he's been playing.
Yeah, that could also be why they put him in the academy too, is like maybe give him some more like experience like leading a team and like taking more initiative in the games, since he has like a lot more experience. So going into the game, I mean, everything looks pretty standard. Everyone's kind of just spotting, taking the counter spires.
Everything's pretty standard too. We don't really see anything crazy.
I mean neither team really has like that strong of a level 1. We probably have a slightly stronger level 1 with TK, but we don't really need to do anything proactive. Like I said, like our comp is just kind of playing to scale up and then play through mid lane.
So looks like we're actually starting blue on Sejuani, which is interesting. Looks like he's just trying to match the Skarner. Nothing really crazy though from the level 1, like you said. Everybody's just going to go to lane and just kind of play it out with both bot lanes leaking.
You always go crappy pot in early mid.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. There's nothing else really to go, because Aurelia's only weak point is like 1 through 4, so you might as well just get it to sustain.
So we kept talking about how early game for Echo Fox might be a little rough. What do we really need to watch out for? Like, is there something early that could happen that would really just spiral out of control for us?
I mean, I think their team comp isn't really going to do much early. I mean, we just need to watch our own champions, I think, because it depends on our play if we're going to win this game, I think. Like, the enemies have a very slow comp as well, but we need to play faster than them. So that's what's really going to matter, is our play, not theirs.
Interesting here, we see TSM with mid priorities are actually coming in and contesting Odd Orange's jungle, kind of just taking away his raptors and warding up his red buff.
It's a really smart play by them, because this is the only time mid can't really win.
What level would you say that Aurelia kind of like matches that mid pressure from Zoe?
As soon as Aurelia is level 6, she has constant kill pressure, so she won't be able to like play as forward as she is right now.
And then you'd say, so after 6, it's kind of Aurelia favored in this matchup?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely skill still at all points of the game. Like, the champions are super like mechanically intensive, so anything can happen, but definitely things get easier for Aurelia when she can just press ult and then kill them. So,
gotcha. One thing too to note is the only real different meta pick we have here this game is Brand. I don't know if you want to talk about that at all, Josh, but like, how does that play into this game?
I mean, Brand's just like a pretty solid ball lane pick right now. He does like consistent damage and scales really well throughout the whole game. Like before now, you'd see Brand like play support sometimes, like in solo queue, and it does a ton of damage. And he just does even more with items and CS as well. He's just like a really impressive laner in team fights, especially against like a lot of melees. Like you see, we have Aurelia, Sejuani, and Ornn, just like Brand all going through all of them in the team fight. They just do a ton of damage.
So we see Mike Young just kind of sitting here, kind of look for a lane gank. I don't think anything's really going to happen. And we also got Nathan recalling.
I mean, Mike Young's job this game is just to protect his side lanes early on, because they kind of win organically on their own because of the matchups. I'm pretty sure Aatrox will have pressure against Ornn, and then, like I said before, their bot lane will have pressure after 3 once the wave bounces back.
But around level 6, it should be pretty good for Kai'Sa, right?
Not really 2v2, because, I mean, Kai'Sa at 6, like, she's really good playing off CC and, like, getting in the enemy's face, but, I mean, with a top catch, you can't really have any aggressive plays.
Gotcha.
Tom Kench is really good with ADs that can like force plays by themselves because he keeps you safe and allows you to play aggressive. But like say we had like Lucian or something that can, or MF like that can trade by himself. Tom Kench can eat the like Alistar combo and let the other player play aggressive. But guys that can't really play aggressive on their own, she needs to follow up with the stronger support. So that's like why our lane is like so much weaker.
So we see invade now from Nathan on the enemy Raptors, kind of getting that one up, or returning the one up that Mike Young got earlier. He's actually getting collapsed on pretty hard here, forcing his flash out, but Shady's here to get a kill, and that's not what you want to see to start off the game if you're Echo Fox. Losing that early party in your jungle is not going to be very good.
You might even go further too.
Yeah, it's most likely going to be at least flashes, maybe even Yasui dying here.
I mean, I feel like a lot of that stems from just like trying to do too much early. Like we said earlier, like the Aurelia needs to kind of get like a few more levels before having priority over the Zoe.
It comes from drafting as well, though, because I think we feel so pressured to do something mid-jungle in this game, but we don't really have the tools to do it because both of our side lanes are losing. Like Alistar just easily can come there, and Tom Kench can't show up first either.
Yeah, their top lane is going to get pushed in for the majority of this game.
I think this is really interesting to me as well too, because you see we drafted like a traditional team comp, right? Like we have an AD carry in the game bot, and then they don't. And I think that also has a big deal to do with it too. Like the reason the meta has been so different is because of like the AD carries are just traditionally not able to win early because they spike so much later. I mean, Lost is doing a very good job, but like
yeah,
it's also that's just how it's going to work, is that the brand is always going to have control of the lane because brand is so much stronger earlier.
Yeah, I mean, you even look at the CS, like Lost is like up and equal in CS in like a pretty bad matchup. Like it's not that he's like a worse player than the other team, it's just like his champion is way weaker. So it might be a good decision to like get us on like a higher priority, like stronger ball lane, because we definitely have like the skill to abuse that early.
So we don't see it this game, but what's your general thoughts on super jungling Tanner as a mid laner?
I feel like playing the super strat, if you're not the super champion, is pretty boring because you're kind of just sitting in the other lane hoping your team wins. I think it adds a lot to the game. It's like interesting to like watch. I feel like they need to change it somehow though, because I don't think it's like.
You don't think it's healthy, maybe?
It reminds me of lane swap meta in like season like 4, where it's like smarter team is gonna win, right? But like it also doesn't add too much to the viewing experience, I think.
I mean, I feel like the smarter team always winning is kind of boring, and it removes like the whole lane phase from the game, which is like a very staple part of League of Legends. And that's like where you get to see like a lot of the skill difference between players, and like that's where like individual talent kind of comes into play. So like if there's no like 1v1 mid lane or anything like that, like the whole early game is just a lot more boring to watch.
So we see I really went QSS first here in the mid lane matchup. Is that normal, or do you think that's just something he's doing specifically because of how the early game went?
I think it's pretty good here because of Skarner ult and then also Zoe passive. And then since they're running AP carry brand in the bot lane, it's like the magic resist is just gonna help. So
I mean, doesn't it delay your items and stuff a lot too? Like
it does.
He's gonna be pretty weak in a fight, I feel like, with.
I mean, the Triforce won't come for quite a while, but you can't really use your Triforce because he's dead. So we actually see a pretty big fight down here. It looks like we're gonna go 1-for-1 right now. We have Nintendo teleporting down. Shady should die here since he has no flash. This is actually really good for our bot lane, getting Lost kind of ahead in this matchup where we said it was pretty rough early.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like that's gonna reduce a lot of their pressure bot lane too. Whether they use Flash Skarner or Alistar.
Alistar had used Flash earlier, so.
Oh yeah, Alistar already Flash. But like, I mean, Flash Skarner ult is huge. Like that removes a lot of pressure for all players.
Nice.
And Yasui gets a solo kill mid. That's pretty big too.
That's like what I was talking about in the matchup earlier, right? Like as soon as Aurelia hits 6, she just has all control of the lane.
The biggest issue right now, while we are getting this dragon, is we're actually losing a lot of health on our top lane turret. So that's going to be a little rough. And Nintendo won't have TP to match Pi Cake Lord's TP when it comes up in a minute here. So TSM might look to make another play bottom and try and salvage the situation they've gotten themselves into.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happened top is not that big of a deal. This game was looking pretty bad until that play just happened, but now that we got both our carries ahead in the Fire Dragons, we kind of have a way back into this game through our carries.
So are you more of a fan of the AP or AD Kaisa, Josh?
I mean, originally when they nerfed all the AP ratios, I thought AP Kai'Sa would be pretty bad and like situational at best, but it kind of just seems like AP just feels better in like nearly every game unless your whole team is AP. I think a lot of that just comes from like how the champion plays, and like the evolved W is also just really insane.
And it also
She's just a lot stronger AP, to be honest.
It also enables the Aurelia more due to the fact that you have that mixed kind of damage coming in, right?
Yeah, that's true as well.
Everything's kind of just settled down. Echo Fox has a small gold lead now because of that play, but nothing else really crazy.
I just want to see what the next play is on the map. They'll probably look to... I mean, TSM could look to play for Herald top lane because of Aatrox having a lot of pressure in the lane. But at the same time, Aurelia is like pretty ahead now.
I mean, Fox Academy should just look to play through Yasui now.
Yeah.
Yasui got the solo kill on mid while burning Flash and the stopwatch, so the Zoe shouldn't be able to play anywhere but under her tower now.
It looks like Sejuani's heading mid right now.
We do have to be careful bottom though, like I said earlier, due to the mismatches of TPs now. Since Cake Lord does have it, our bot lane does have to be a bit safer. So it might be good for us to try and force something top just to kind of get that advantage back on our side, forcing the TP maybe out of Aatrox.
Yeah, I mean the TP's pretty interruptible too. Ornn can kind of just ult him, and I feel like Aatrox doesn't really want to TP as well. Like he kind of just wants to play for the 1v1 since he has pressure.
I mean, Nintendo is still winning top in the quote-unquote losing matchup, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he TP'd away, he's still up 10 CS, and he's always pushing his lane, so it's definitely not something I expected to happen in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know too much about Aatrox, or I'm not sure who exactly should win, but I feel like Aatrox should definitely win.
Oh, it looks like we're having a flash our play down here in the bottom lane. Adrian most likely going to go down. Stronger ult coming in.
I don't think this is even that bad if Adrian dies because they
didn't even get the kill actually, and it looks like Lost is going to pick up the kill on Shady.
That was actually really good for us because they used so much for that kill. And
TSM executed that pretty poorly.
Here as well.
That's actually really good for our Echo Fox guys. There's pretty much no way Mike Young makes this out alive. So, going into this point now, what do you really want to see Echo Fox do to kind of just push their lead even further?
I mean, they just have to keep playing the game normally. Like, they're losing lanes, they're going to start winning. Aurelia's 2-0, she's huge. Hey, they don't have to do anything special, just keep playing the game standard. You play your lanes out, and I feel like you're just going to win now.
And the game is hella free win, actually.
Yeah.
Lost will actually just 1v5. Same with Yasui. They're just too strong now. TSM messed up too much. Like, as soon as they get first tower, either bot or mid, whoever that is just going to be too unstoppable.
So if you're TSM though, what do you try and do now to try and get yourself back in the game?
I mean, you have to feel really pressured to make plays. Like, if it looks right, I think Skarner Flash is coming up. Unless because Alistar just used Flash. Skarner Flash is coming up. Like, maybe you look for a play there, but you can't go on Aurelia because she has QSS. So maybe you just repeat ball in or do something.
Maybe try and gank top and try and dive top with Aatrox passive.
Yeah, you could look top as well.
I feel like it's going to be pretty hard to make a Skarner play bottom now that the bot lane's
I mean, even getting Brand ahead, like I feel like the early game is so far gone that like even if Brand gets another kill or two, like Kai'Sa scaling, especially with the Infernal Break, is just going to be way too insane. So yeah, maybe you just try and get Aatrox ahead or something. But to be honest, TSM's game is pretty hard now.
Yeah. We actually see Mike Young doing the Rift Herald, so Nathan might come in to try and stop that, but I don't really think he's going to get there in time. It's kind of a misstep by Fox, I think, just giving up an objective when you're this far ahead, but...
Shout out to Wiggly in the chat.
Who's Wiggly?
Wiggly, the jungler?
Wait, who?
Wiggly.
Really? Wait, I actually have no idea who that is.
Are you sure?
Wait, Wiggly. Yeah.
He's like a...
feel like so...
Just absolute random? Or?
So Mike Young was actually able to secure Rift Herald here, but we were able to kill him off the back of it, diving on top. Tanner's finished trolling Wiggly, I feel.
I mean, I don't even know who that is actually. I was just saying his name.
So, just one more time, just go over quickly, Tanner. What does Echo Fox need to do here to kind of just...
They need to do this for
me. Lock and top and off, bro.
Yeah, I mean...
It's the watch, though.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the Adrian show, actually. He baited the dive really well. Lawrence just cleaned up.
Lawrence just right-clicked.
Yeah.
Lost 1v2'd.
So it looks like they're going to be able to secure a first turret bottom too, which would be really good for Lawrence. Looks like he's going to be even farther ahead. He should have his second item pretty far along the way now with all this double kill and turret gold.
I mean, this game went from a complete disaster for us to like
Just
completely over in like 3 minutes. I don't really know what TSM was doing, forcing so hard on Tom Kench.
I know a lot of
All
people
the
have been very
frustrating
outspoken about how Kaisa is slightly overpowered in the super jungle. What do you think about her in the bot lane?
I mean, I think she's overpowered in like the super comp, but just like as a ball lane champion, she has like a very clear weakness early game. I mean, maybe she's like a little early tuned later in the game with her items, but like I feel like after like the recent Rage Blade nerf on the live pad, she's probably in a fine spot. I wouldn't really say she's broken.
We got another Infernal Drake spawning here. That's actually really lucky for Echo Fox. Having double Inferno while you're already ahead is just kind of like another just, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, this is really
bad
just like,
for TSM.
Yeah, this is just Echo Fox's game at this point. I don't really see how TSM comes back. Like maybe Zoe can get some picks, but like our champions are so good when they're ahead as well. Like we don't really have any squishy targets that are easily picked off. Like Kaisa's really hard to kill, Tomkin's really hard to kill. Irelia has W and tons of ways of staying alive, and then both our tanks are obviously going to be hard to take down as well. Like I just don't see what TSM can really do. And like I said in the draft, like this Garner is pretty useless. Like maybe you win through Aatrox split, but then your group of 4 is just really gonna lose to ours who just have Sejuani engaged.
So what do you think that TSM should have picked jungle-wise instead then? Like what do you think would have helped like just kind of fill out their comp?
I mean, you look for something to 2v2 mid, I feel like. I don't know if you want to go into that, Tanner. Like, is there any jungler compared with, like, you could put with Zoe to, like, maybe win that matchup? Or?
I could be active on the map before double click, I feel. It doesn't even have to be around mid. Like, they have a winning bot lane too, but it seemed like they just lost the 2v2 on their own this game. I don't feel like Brand should ever lose to Kaisa.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Especially since there was no jungle pressure on either side.
Like you were saying, like even though Brand had like prior bot lane, which is like that's just gonna happen naturally with the picks, like he was still down like 15 feet CS like first recall. Like that's pretty ridiculous and shouldn't really happen.
And if you look at the mid items right now too, Irelia has a full Triforce and the QSS, and Zoe hasn't even finished her first item, so she's just like extremely behind right now.
Yeah, I mean I feel like you can't blame Blazolve as much as you can for the mid matchup, because like he wasn't really getting outplayed 1v1 exactly until Irelia kind of got kills, whereas like the bot lane was like they were losing purely 2v2.
And here we got our tech guy Andrew just fixing my mic real quick. Shout outs to Andrew, great movie guy, does a bunch of cool stuff like that. Real quickly while I'm doing this, just kind of see what's going on. We got the Rift Herald coming in bot lane. Just kind of waiting for Baron right now. I feel like for Echo Fox. Is there anything that you would like really worry about right now, Tanner, if you were on the team, like telling you guys try not to do something while you wait for Baron?
I mean, I just hope the internet doesn't go out, you know?
That'd be pretty unfortunate.
I feel like that's the only way we can actually lose the game right now.
No, I mean I feel like you just like remind each other, like everybody just play normally. Don't like feel forced to make plays. Just push out your lanes, get vision, and play on pressure.
So shout out to all the people in the chat praising Andrew, wonderful tech guy. Just thanks to everybody we got here shooting all the stuff. We got a bunch of guys in the back helping out with everything. So good on all of them. Everyone's a great group of guys we got here.
Smurfing hard.
It's pretty unfortunate. This game's kind of just in a boring state right now while we wait for Baron.
Yeah,
nothing's really gonna happen until then. I feel like Echo Fox is just coming off a base right now. They're probably gonna look to secure their Baron vision with all the control wards they picked up. But otherwise, nothing really should be expected to happen. What do you think, Tanner?
Sorry, I zoned out. What'd you say?
It's the pizza, right? We were talking about pizza earlier, and now you just zoned out thinking about pizza.
I mean, yeah, I was hungry, and the game is free win, so.
Haha XD.
No, not XD. It really is a free win, bro.
I mean, actually, they can't really lose the game.
It really is
like,
impossible, yeah.
Like, it's just like team comp. Like, the Aatrox didn't do his job. He didn't really win top alone. The Skarner wasn't able to get to 6. I mean, mid got solo killed, which pretty much made the lane really hard. And then bot lane also didn't do their job. Like, before the game, we were talking, saying that both side lanes on TSM should be winning, and then neither of them won. So it's like, not sure what TSM can really do to win the game now.
I mean, I feel like Aatrox had pretty good early priority. He just never really did anything with it. So, pretty unfortunate from that side.
I mean, I feel like Aatrox did a decent job. I don't know how hard he beats Ornn like early game. I feel like he kind of needs the items, and like the part of winning the matchup is like you win the side lane once you get items and have a ton of pressure. But I mean, it just kind of seems like TSM's players either got outclassed or like didn't play to their strength early games. Like they even got a huge lead like through the Sejuani kill early, and then I think they got another kill bot as well. Like they had a very real way of winning the game, but they just overforced too hard.
Just want to throw it out there real quick. Make sure you guys are checking out our new Twitter we have, at EchoFoxLol. We're going to have Lawrence, aka Lost, on here after the next game against Cloud9, where we're going to be asking him questions that you guys throw up there on the Twitter. Just use the hashtag #AskEchoFox. You see kind of like a fight going on right now over Baron. Kendu actually got a really good knockup for Lawrence to come in and get a kill onto Mr. Rao.
The lost item, I go down here.
Shouldn't be a big issue though with the rest of TSM falling and only Lawrence dying. That should be Baron for EchoFox.
Can really fit that? Maybe he has the.
Nope.
Oh.
That's unfortunate. And it's pretty unfortunate too that Mike Young was one of the guys that stayed alive, because it really slows down our opportunity to try and do that where he could go in for a steal.
Yeah, I wish we had a replay of that fight. Kind of missed how Lawrence died, but if he stayed alive, I'm pretty sure we were able to get Baron.
So now I guess we're just gonna have to reset and try and set up vision for Baron again and just play.
Yeah, I mean, just keep playing the game out. It's kind of unfortunate that we weren't able to like take Baron off winning the fight, but we still won the fight. Just keep it makes the game go a little bit slower.
We're 6K gold up now. It's pretty advantageous for us, you'd say, right?
Yeah, 6K gold is quite a bit of money, so. We have 2 fire drags as well.
Yeah, and what's the third one? We got a Cloud Drake up right now. It's not really all that important. Probably not going to see anybody really going for that.
No, I mean, all we're going to do is push up mid and top and just hover around our vision, around Baron. And eventually, TSM's going to have to walk up and we can just engage with Sejuani and Ornn. It's like really impossible for TSM to win, I feel, unless we play really hard.
If you're TSM though, what's your like item power spike do you think you're playing for right now to try and like get yourself back?
I mean, they're on their power spikes right now. Like Ginsu's Titanic Hydra on Aatrox winning the side lane. I feel like Zoe's pretty strong right now. I mean, Brand has 2 items. Like this is actually like the strongest point they're going to be all game. So they really need to make something happen, like on this window.
This is just for you, Tanner, real quickly. What's your thought on the whole Lich Bane that we've been doing? I know you're really
it's hella bad.
vocal about that.
I mean, Lich Bane is fine if you're sitting there with like if you have like perfect CS and kills, then Lich Bane is fine because you're just gonna one-shot everyone. But if you go Lich Bane when you're not ahead and the enemies can just build magic resist, it's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, like Aatrox has a ton of pressure in the side lane right now, but like the rest of TSM, like their group of 4 is really slow at doing Baron. So like although TSM was able to drag like 4 people bot right there, we couldn't really do anything around Baron just because like their champions are not good at that, and that wasn't really communicated, it seemed, between like the TSM players. Because Aatrox was pressuring when the rest of his team wasn't really able to get anything by when Fox went down bot.
Just another quick question here for you, Tanner. Do you think having a losing record in the LCS and falling behind in one of these matches, does that play at all into your mindset into the game? Or is that are you just not even thinking about that when you're playing?
Like one of the academy teams falling behind?
So like TSM right now, you're 1-3 in the LCS. You said this week means a lot, and here you are now, you're losing this match. You just lost against Golden Guardians. Like, how does that play into your mindset?
I mean, it's got to feel pretty bad, especially in a game where like you don't really feel like you can come back. Like it's almost like you're just thinking about the next game already, which is like pretty sad. But I mean, there's not much you can really do except for just like be positive about it, right? Like even last split in academy, like we ended up second place, with the second place finish, and I think from like week 3 to week 5 we went like 1 win, 5 loss. So I mean, as long as you can keep positive like mindset and everything, I think anything is really possible in academy. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see Echo Fox Academy start the split 0-4 and then honestly end in the top 4. Like,
right. It's totally possible. When you guys did it last split, you guys had a really big comeback against Team Liquid. Everybody kind of counted you guys down as being the team not to win that match. So we see a pretty big fight here though that just happened at Baron. Echo Fox is actually going to secure Baron, but at the cost of losing their bottom inhibitor to Pi Cake Lord. Do you feel like that's a pretty good trade for TSM in this scenario? Like that's pretty much as much as they were going to get, right? 2 turrets and an inhibitor turret?
I mean, if they don't even get the inhibitor, it's really bad for TSM.
I mean, even if they get the inhib, I feel like you just take your Baron and push through like bot lane and mid, so the inhibitor doesn't really matter at all. So I mean, that's like the best they can do, right? Like
they just try and play through their split pushing Aatrox.
Yeah. TSM is just playing through the win conditions they have, but it really is just so hard for them to win the game.
Yeah. So if Echo Fox does win this match, how do you think that does for their confidence going into the next match against C9?
I mean, it's like it's doubleheader, right? So they're playing back-to-back games. I mean, it's got to feel really good. It's like when best of 3s were around. It's like as soon as you get the 1 win, it feels like easier. But I mean, it's also the fact that like, maybe you can get overconfident too. Or you just feel too good about it. Like
you get a little too hyped because it's your first win.
I feel like them winning this game is like huge for their mental because like all their scrims are always doing really well in scrims and they're all confident as players and like they just haven't really been able to get the win like in a real match. But like now that's over, right? Like now they're kind of like freed of that stress of like losing every game. They're like, all right guys, we can do this. Like let's just win this game as well.
We just saw another 3 members here from TSM go down. This game's pretty much over at this point.
I mean, it was just a ticking time bomb, like we said before. Just playing around Baron, pushing out vision, we have like TSM just doesn't really have much to do.
Yeah, they should be able to end the game here most likely. Not much that Brandon Garner can do to stop this wave of Baron minions.
Yeah, she was really good. Okay.
So what do you feel like was the catalyst for this game? Was that bot lane dive thing?
I mean, as soon as the brand started losing lane, and they like 3v2 dove bot lane, right?
And didn't get a single kill.
And then Lost came out with a kill. I mean, as soon as that happens, it feels pretty sad for TSM because they're drafting like a winning bot lane that is now losing in a 3 versus 2 lane. Like it feels pretty sad.
It also has to feel really good for our Echo Fox guys. It was their first win now. They're finally on the board.
I mean, yeah, having their first win in like any competitive match is like feels amazing. So, pretty sure next game is gonna be a similar way. To be honest, like they're gonna probably feel really confident.
Well, the next game is going to be really interesting too because we're going up against Cloud9, but there's been a lot of roster changes with them recently. And I know this week they're using Keith and Sneaky as their 2 players, and Zazel is back onto Academy as well.
Yeah, so Sneaky's playing mid lane or what?
We don't know.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Yeah, either Keith or Sneaky will have to be mid.
Or
I mean,
really
or they
mix everything up.
They can also just force a super comp and then run like mage bot with like one of them, and then just have their ADC mid. So. I wouldn't be surprised to see like something like that from their strategy. Do we know what they ran? Because they just played a game as well, right? Or is this their first game?
No, so this will be their first game for C9. It's like coming up. But before we get too much into that, do you want to just give your final thoughts? Like, what do you think Echo Fox really did just to kind of get themselves that win?
I mean, it seemed like they just outplayed on an individual level there because their comp was gonna win later, but then also since they're winning early game, it's like pretty easy.
So if you're Echo Fox, do you want to kind of draft the same way going to next game, or do you think that going up against C9, that's going to change how you want to play?
I think drafting like that is really good for Echo Fox because you're going to have Yusui on a highly skillful champion that he can like be confident on, and then you're going to have Lost on a champion that is like stronger late game. And I mean, everyone is scared of Lost in Academy. Everyone knows that this guy, when given the resources, is going to carry the game. So I think if you have a catalyst like Lost on your team, and then you're able to get a good lane matchup for Yusui, Echo Fox Academy is just going to be scary in general.
And to build off of that too, you can't count out Nintendude.
Oh yeah, I mean he's just a rock up there in the top lane. Like,
he's got
he
a pretty big pool of
matchup.
champions.
Yeah.
Like you said, yeah, he went up against Aatrox. We said it was going to be a losing matchup, and he was still up in CS even though he was TPing bottom and making plays happen.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting to see how that kind of clashes with C9, who has more of like an aggressive top laner in Shiro, and then you've also got Sneaky coming in to play against them. He's a really high-class AD carry. That'll be a good matchup for Lawrence to see how he stacks up against him if Sneaky does end up being the AD carry.
I mean, I'm just excited to see how the draft goes.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they're playing with 2 like marksman players, so.
I feel like Echo Fox strategy should just be like ban out supers, and then Yasui's gonna win the mid matchup as long as it's like a skill dependent matchup because they don't really have a mid laner.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be going to game 2 in a minute here. Just want to give a quick shout out to Tanner DeMonte for joining us for this game. We're gonna be having somebody else come up here. I don't know if you want to shout out yourself and let people know where they can find you and follow you.
Oh, I mean, you can just follow me on Twitter on Fox_DeMonte. Other than that, thanks for having me, guys.
It's been great seeing you.
It was great seeing you, bro.
We're going to toss it to a quick video here while we take a break, getting ready for game 2. So enjoy this quick video we got here for you.
Shout out to Mama DeMonte.
Mama DeMonte makes great cookies, apparently.
She does.
Okay, dude.
Clutch Gaming loads up against Echo Fox. Oh, never mind, man. Oh, Hootie caught finally. The wave is going to fall down. Apollo forward. But we entered the Matrix.
Quick pause, try and figure out what happened here.
During spring last split, we obviously like crashed and like kind of fell off towards the end of the split.
How about that one? Golden Guardians taking down the #1 team in the league, and I liked how they did it.
But fortunately, we still ends up being 3rd place.
Echo Fox will take 3rd place.
We decided to boot camp in Korea, and it was like really helpful.
Now we work on our mental strength. We are not gonna fail in this season.
Going into week 1, I think it's going to be pretty exciting just because like this is entirely new meta.
Recently there was a change to a range marksman that makes them a lot weaker.
AD carries aren't really played anymore. It's more like just bruisers or people like role swapping. Our players can play certain champions really well that are really good in the meta, so I think it'll be pretty good for us.
The meta right now is really interesting because like you can play almost anything. Everyone's just fighting all the time and it's really chaotic.
Before there was no like super like weird meta as much as like right now.
It's just going to be pretty exciting, and honestly I don't know what to expect.
For viewers it'll be pretty fun, I think. There's going to be too many fights.
Go Echo Fox!
We're here at the LCS studio. We're playing FlyQuest today for the first game of the season, and we're really excited to showcase what strategies we have in hold in this new crazy meta.
FlyQuest face off against Echo Fox.
We tried out some role swapping with Huni playing bot lane. Little strategy we've been working on.
Switching the roles entirely on the side of Echo Fox. The meta is wide open, and Echo Fox are here to demonstrate exactly what you can do with such creative freedom.
When we got into the game, they walked in the lane when we already pushed the lane, and they gave us first blood.
They still get him the first blood immediately. We can go here. Orn's on the side, Orn's on the side.
I was really impressed by Altek. I think it was his first time ever playing top lane, and he played Mundo top, and he played really well.
Flame taken low, FlyQuest taken out, and that is your ace!
The game was pretty chaotic and a lot of fights.
The health bars can't survive, and FlyQuest is out of there.
We won in about 23 minutes.
Echo Fox is still such a strong contender.
Congratulations on that victory. Good meta or bad meta? What do you think?
I mean, it's my meta.
It's your meta. I'm excited to see what else you have for us.
I'm really glad that we got our first win.
We had a pretty strong showing yesterday, and going into the game against Clutch, I think we're pretty confident.
Clutch Gaming loads up against Echo Fox. Oh, never mind, man. Oh, Hootie caught finally. Oh, Solo got his teammate killed. The wave is going to fall down. Apollo forward.
but
we entered the Matrix. Quick pause, try and figure out what happened here.
When we are like kind of pausing there, it feels kind of not good, obviously, right? And
server crashed. It was kind of weird.
The game server crashed at 32-26. We were unable to chrono break this game, and league officials are ruling the game a victory for Echo Fox.
I never had experience that. People upset and I'm upset too because I would rather finish the game.
But still we got the win, so pretty happy.
It feels really good to start off on a good note, and hopefully we can keep winning and improving. There's a lot of things we can work on, and, like practicing more champions. Any champion can play in almost any role, so like we just have to be able to play it.
We're going into week 2 and we against Optic Gaming and Golden Guardians. They will lose. We'll be stronger every week and we'll dominate.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe Echo Fox on social media, and stay tuned for more League of Legends action.
Welcome back, everybody, for Game 2 against Cloud9, coming up in just a few minutes here. We've made a roster change on our caster desk here, if you want to call it that, with Think Hard, aka Thomas. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. I just saw that last game. Echo Fox Academy got their first win of the season, so looking a lot better. Lost seemed to do really well. Pretty much popped off. We had a comp that outscaled, and somehow we got a lead early game, which is just a testament to their superior mechanics.
Also, a quick shout out for Tanner being on here. It was great having him. We got pizza now. How was your pizza, Josh?
I mean, it's pretty good. Barbecue pizza, you can't complain. I was kind of hungry watching that game, so glad the pizza came through.
You worked with C9 in the past, right, Thomas?
Yeah, I worked with C9 in 2016. I was with their academy team. That was when academy or challenger teams could get into LCS. Yeah. So that team became FlyQuest.
Cool. So I guess you worked with Sneaky then, right?
Yeah, I worked with Sneaky for sure. Sneaky's an amazing player. He really logical, keeps review like going in the right direction, so he's not like wasting a lot of players' time. Like he's not gonna like waste with like useless conversations, and so he like really makes the most out of review. And obviously he's a top tier player. Like he's always gonna do really well in lane. Sneaky in lane, pretty big meme. That guy's a top laner in NA for sure.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Keith and Sneaky roster? Like, what do you think? Do you think they're gonna look to do like a super comp or what?
Oh, they have to, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like any like skill matchup mid like Yasui versus Keith is not gonna be very close.
But you think so? They're gonna do a super comp. What kind of super do you think they do? Xayah Rakan?
Yeah, Xayah. I mean, Braum's gone.
So Rakan's also gone actually. So.
I mean, that's what I'd ban against them too. I think we're banning the right stuff. Does Keith play mids? Like,
I mean, he plays like Karma.
He plays Brand.
He plays Brand.
Brand Karma.
Maybe we'll see a Brand mid.
All right, so they're picking Lucian. Lost is obviously insanely good at this champion, so no surprise there.
He used to one-trick the champion when he was back in OPO.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was a one-trick Lucian player back when he first met Nick. So it'd be really interesting to see how he does with that champion since he's pretty comfortable on it.
Mm-hmm.
Both Irelia and Zoe are gone, so we won't see that on Yasui. He had a pretty good performance on the Irelia last game. I don't know if you saw, but he ended up solo killing the enemy Zoe in the mid lane, even though he went QSS first. So he's obviously really comfortable on that champion.
Yeah, Yasui actually has really good mechanics for like someone who's like fresh into academy. Obviously, he hasn't been playing in like competitive for a while. He played in college, but not like academy or LCS. But he is like one of the top laners in the academy for sure. So if you get him a good matchup, he is going to punish and get advantages and pull that into the mid game.
What do you think about the Nintendo Shiro matchup?
Nintendo's probably more consistent. Shiro probably has a little more pop-off potential. The Nunu here is really interesting. It makes sense. I'm pretty sure they're going to pick Kaisa third pick for Keith. Looks like they're going to do a super. It's impossible not to do a super if you're picking Nunu in this meta, I feel.
Yeah. Could also see a Karthus. There's been some people doing the Nunu Karthus.
Kale
Nunu. Interesting.
That's not bad. Can Graves do anything against that? I feel like unless you like do something level 1, Graves might have some trouble against Kel.
Yeah, I feel like the Graves pick was kind of interesting because like you see Nunu, right, and you know they're gonna do super. I feel like Graves in a super isn't that optimal.
Yeah.
You can't really be like that proactive early game. But we'll see.
Then
I wonder who's gonna play the Kale, to be honest. Like, although Keith locked it in, like Sneaky plays a ton of Kale in solo queue recently, so.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean he's been playing in solo queue.
So do you think Sneaky might actually go mid here and Keith goes bottom?
Yeah, I think there's a chance for sure. Like when the bot lane meta like shifted and stuff, Sneaky was playing like a lot of Kale ADC, so maybe he'll just want to play it mid.
Yeah.
I think it just depends on whoever has the bigger champ pool plays off the Kale, because like Kale's like a pretty easy champion, right? And then whoever goes to the side lane like and has more options of champions should be the person down there.
So they ban out Swain Lulu. They don't want to go against Graves Lulu, I guess, but I feel like if I was going Nunu Kale versus Lulu, that would be pretty good for me. And then we ban Morgana. So, I guess we're afraid of like hyper carry Kale. They're gonna pick like Morgana in the bot lane.
Just to protect it?
Yeah, just to protect the Kale. Morgana's also a pretty good pick because if C9 doesn't pick their support here, then they get counter pick on support if they want to send the Shen top. So then like we can actually pick some melee or something blind and not be afraid of Morgana.
Oh, it looks like they're gonna give Shiro his one-trick Riven too, which is pretty interesting.
He popped off on Riven week 1, didn't he? I remember seeing a highlight of them losing. He showed up to Baron Pit and just
destroyed them.
Wiped everyone, and they just won the game off of it.
I mean, it's pretty rough. Whenever you're going up against Shiro or Viper, you really have to worry about that pick. It's just something they can break out at any point, and they're comfortable into so many matchups.
How does Riven do versus Ornn though? Because I feel like Ornn would like have a pretty good time early on at least.
I think it was something that Huni was talking about. He liked that matchup before.
As Riven or as Ornn?
Back when we were when we had a Lorm around.
He liked the Ornn or the Riven?
The Riven.
Oh really?
I don't remember. I just feel like you go like Black Cleaver first, try to just farm and scale, and then you just do pop off in a team fight.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless the Ornn really messes up, do you really? Oh, they actually went Rumble. Is that Rumble mid?
It must be Rumble mid.
Graves.
I know you too. He likes Rumble mid a lot, and especially with like the recent buffs, he's just like an insane champion.
So why do you think we're seeing the Rumble mid here?
It's a pretty strong early game, especially paired with Graves. They're going to be able to hopefully abuse the Nunu Kale, since if Nunu Kale gets levels, the Kale's obviously going to be insanely strong, so you kind of have to punish it early, especially if they're going like Graves Rumble. And then they end up last picking Ezreal here. That's
give them their standard dirty carry in the bottom lane since they already have a super jungle.
Yeah, pretty normal. They have a pretty good front line. Pretty basic super comp from Cloud9. They just have Nunu Kale or Nunu anything in the mid lane, and then just one side lane to play do and one strong side lane.
What if it's super Riven with top lane Kale? Nope.
That would be a pop off.
I do think our comp is like pretty hard to deal with Kale if he gets ahead. Like,
we don't really have like CC to stop him.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind of just like gonna mow down everyone.
So you're like diving into him.
Aside from the Ornn knockups.
Yeah, and we don't really have poke. It's going to be pretty interesting actually, because usually against the Kale, like it's not that good against like CC or poke, and we don't have either. So we are kind of like going into their death ball, but we do have a shit ton of damage.
We would definitely have a stronger early game though.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that our team could play too, is that Kale is not really going to be that strong until she gets her Rage Blade and Nashor's Tooth.
Yeah. I just really wish we had a playmaking jungler or someone who can do more early, be more proactive.
Yeah, Graves is definitely one of those like pressure champions. You play off lane pressure, try to like counter jungle, get an experience lead. Something not to forget though is that like C9's team, like Kale will get caught out by Ornn if he's just ever out of position. You just bring that in from two screens away and just engage on him. Shen ulti will come down, but if you like combo that with Rumble ult, like that might be too much.
Yeah, that's true.
I have not seen.
I mean, in a lot of situations, like the Kale's gonna have to buffer like the Ornn ult with his Kale ult, but like you can just kill him afterwards.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't ult the Ornn knockup, he'll just die. So.
There wasn't a super last game, right?
Nope, there was no super last game.
Yeah, it was kind
of standard. Do you want to talk about the bottom lane at all? How do you think that matchup will go? We got Lucian and Soraka versus Ezreal Shen.
I mean, we just have a lot of pressure. Like Soraka's a huge. She's like really impressive in the lane phase, especially with like her Q and E. She just does a ton of damage, and Lucian is like the strongest AD laning right now. Ezreal's just kind of have to scale up, and I think the Shen pick is more just to like support the Kale in your side lanes as well. They're pretty much stacking bot lane and having Shen to make plays around the rest of the map while Ezreal scales. So we definitely have like a higher pressure bot lane.
So after our first game, it was our guys' first win. Now they're 1-3, I believe.
Yeah,
Yes,
1 and 4.
1 and 4, sorry. 1 and 4. Do you think that'll kind of give them a little bit of an edge going into this game now they've got that momentum behind them since they had such a stomp of a first game?
I would hope so, especially because like they have such an aggressive bot lane now. Like like you said, they have like a Lucian into an Ezreal, and then it's like Shen Soraka, so they should have a lot of pressure. So they should enable Lost to pop off, have a good early game, and then the mid game should be good as well.
I mean, there's also no jungle pressure coming from them, so like if we have winning sides, like they can just really abuse the matchups.
We got Tanner DeMonte joining us back here real quickly,
Yeah.
alongside.
Getting my,
Are you just getting some pizza?
Oh, getting some pizza. Oh, and Todd Roy, host of the Taunt Fest here at the studio.
Don't mean to interfere. It's just the smell is filling the auditorium. Thanks,
Of course. No problem, guys.
See you guys later. So real quickly before we get into the game, I'm going to give you guys one side, and you kind of give me the win condition for that team. So you want to start off with the Echo Fox?
Let me see the draft again.
So we got Orange.
Yeah. Play through the bot lane pressure. When team fights early to mid game with Rumble and Ornn ults. Like I think our early game team fighting will be pretty good. And yeah, just went through the bot lane as well.
And then Thomas, for you, win conditions for Cloud9 going up against Echo Fox here.
I mean, Cloud9 just has to not lose early. They have this new Kale. They're going to scale pretty well. The Ezreal's going to be strong on 2 core. They're not going to be strong early for sure, and they're not going to have like a Riven versus Ornn advantage. They're playing Riven top with a super, so you're not going to have a jungler playing Riven. You're pretty much looking to not lose the game early and hopefully get like a good team fight mid game. But yeah, they definitely have, both teams definitely have like things they need to avoid. Fox has to do well early, and then C9 has to just not get rolled over early, and they'll actually be looking pretty good, I think.
You actually brought up a pretty good point there with the whole Cloud9 kind of doesn't even have a jungler. So how does that play out for top lane? Like that really puts him at a kind of a disadvantage in his matchup where the enemy team could have a jungler come in and influence the matchup. You want to talk about that a little bit?
So pretty much if you're running a super comp, you don't have a jungler since you have 2 people laning mid and 2 people bottom. So then you only have 1 person top. And so pretty much you only have 3 people top side, so like 2 people mid and then like 1 top, whereas the other team, they have like more pretty much versatility because the jungler can be anywhere on the map. They're going to have control mid lane since they have the Rumble, and then the jungler can move to the top lane until Riven, who's someone who has to play aggro, someone has to trade, isn't going to have those windows when you don't have a jungler. So usually in super comps you have more stable top lanes that aren't these like really volatile matchups because you just don't have a jungler.
So going into this game real quick, who do you think is going to win the game?
I would like to say Fox. We're against this pretty strange comp, and we're coming off a win, and so I think that we're going to have a lot of momentum. But once again, I feel like the game is in our hands. If we do well, we're going to win. If we make a few mistakes early, then C9's comp is going to get online, and Sneaky on Ezreal, 2 core, I think is going to impact this game.
It's actually Keith on Ezreal.
Keith on Ezreal is going to impact this game.
It's Sneaky on KO. What about you, Josh? Who are you giving this win to?
I mean, I feel guilty if I don't say Fox, but I feel like, especially in an Academy League, C9 just has like a way easier comp to execute, and if we make a mistake, the game's pretty much over. Yeah. So C9 definitely has a higher chance to win, but I mean, we definitely have ways to win as well. We just have to be proactive and confident with our early game champions and abuse the fact that they don't really have a jungler and we have a winning side lane.
So the game's actually started here. Looks like just pretty standard 5-man wall. Nobody's really going to do anything level 1. It's kind of hard for Cloud9 to kind of invade. They don't really have anything that's going to enable them other than maybe some poke from Ezreal.
Yeah, C9 level 1 is actually pretty bad, so we might be able to do something like maybe invade for a red buff, top side, or just look to get wards just because Graves level 1 is just better than all of their champions. They only have Ezreal pretty much. Looks like they're just comfortable spreading both teams, and Graves is going to start red and probably just look to pressure mid lane after red.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Blabber? I know he's a new jungler for C9 this split. They got rid of...
Yeah, they got rid of Wiggly, who's been doing really well on C9 Academy. Blabber's been looking pretty good. He obviously has a lot of things to learn. Most people, when they go into Academy, there's a pretty steep learning curve, and they actually improve a lot. So I'm expecting him to do a lot better throughout the season, and you're going to see like a lot of improvement out of this guy. Like Auto Orange, coming into last split, off of Team Gates, he didn't look like the most experienced jungler, and now when you watch him play, he has a lot of confidence, he knows how to path, and he definitely has like really good impact in communication. So that type of growth is usually pretty standard for a jungler coming into Academy.
It's pretty cool too to see Academy really help building these guys so they can transition into LCS.
Yeah. Well, I know for like Fox, like our infrastructure is pretty good. And I know Peter is able to like work with our jungler to really get him to like an LCS level. I'm just guessing that other Academy teams can do that as well, but maybe not. Maybe Auto Rangers improved at a faster rate than Blabber will.
So nothing really crazy here. We see Nathan actually Auto Orange going in, just counter jungling some of those camps away from Kale, which I think is really important when you're against the super jungle. You have to kind of starve out that super jungle and force them just to sit mid more.
Yeah, so once again, we can already see like some decisions being made by these teams. Like Rumble Graves, they chose not to duo push out mid together, which is actually going to enable this C9 super comp to push out mid, get top scuttle, and go to blue buff. Usually when you're running something like this, you want to just take like red buff as the Graves, go mid and push out with Rumbles. At the super comp on the other team is just stuck under turret farming or stuck in lane farming. And then the advantage you get is counter jungling and taking crab while they're taking the mid minion. So just a different style than other teams when they try to pick this like early aggression into a super comp.
Somebody just asked, is Jensen going to be playing for main team of C9 this weekend? It seems that way after everything, seeing how the Academy teams played out here. We won't know for sure until this weekend, but
I mean, he's been playing a ton of bot lane and solo queue as well. And I might be wrong, but I feel like there was like a Reddit thread or something. Like, I'm pretty sure Jensen's playing bot lane for the weekend.
It'll be interesting to see how they do the double mid laner going into us, and we actually play against them this weekend too. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
It's actually not too uncommon at all to just not even play with AD carry on your team. There's like in Fnatic and EU, they're not playing with Reckless anymore. They're playing with their top laner instead of him, and some teams in Korea and China are just playing with 2 mid laners. So it's not really out of the ordinary to do it. It's just kind of new in NA, but other teams might start to do that soon just because AD carries are kind of in a weak point, and it's more advantageous in draft and for team comp to just have.
Adrian just stole the Gromp from the enemy team. That's actually pretty big. That's a little mental win right there for Echo Fox, getting that Gromp stolen from the enemy team. Is Huni going to support this weekend, completing the Exodia? I mean,
we'll see. Maybe.
Well, maybe.
Huni can do anything.
Maybe he'll just decide that he wants to play Pike or something crazy like that and just do some crazy shit.
He's actually going to be head coach this week.
Yeah, maybe he'll just coach this week.
And Nara's actually subbing in the position.
I mean, that would complete the Exodia, right? You get all 6 positions in there.
That'd be perfect. Yeah, so this is pretty much going how you said it would go. Lucian Straka having a lot of pressure bottom.
Yeah, it's really hard for Ezreal and Shen to do anything because like especially with like an Ezreal carry, even if Shen taunts him, like they just don't have that much follow-up damage.
They're almost up double CS right now too, which is pretty big.
Yeah, our bot lane is just having a really good game and pushing their lead where they should.
And one thing to keep in mind with this whole super jungle thing, since you're getting all the farm put onto one person, you generally want to have about equivalent to the enemy team's jungle and mid combined in CS. Yeah. Whereas you can see here, Kale barely has more than our mid laner, so we're actually doing pretty well at denying farm onto this super Kale.
Yeah, we're definitely getting really farmed, and they're gonna hit level 6s when only Kale is level 6 and Nunu's not level 6, so we're definitely gonna have an XP lead and a growth lead here. It's just up to us to be proactive before like this Kale gets a lot of items and can just stand there.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of pressure to make plays. Like we do have to make plays and be proactive in the early game, but if we misplay once, like you see how TSM had like great early game champs last game, like they just misplayed those bot dives and the game completely turns around. Like we have to execute our plays well, so Kale doesn't pick up like random kills or Ezreal. They like have so much scaling on their team.
And we see Riven just proxying the wave here now that she's got her Tiamat. I feel like this is going to be a common recurring thing, so our mid lane should be careful from a 3-man dive possibly happening with Riven flanking.
Yeah, Riven's farming pretty well, so this matchup is going pretty well for him. Nothing too crazy happening in the top lane. I just feel like soon we're going to be able to have mid prio and maybe be able to just go to top lane and dive that Riven, just because Riven's not going to be able to push up if they don't have mid prio. So maybe that's something that happens in the next few minutes, because that's definitely a playmaking thing that I don't think they have much counterplay to besides just Riven leading the turret.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about having a champion like Foreign in top lane, like versus super comp, because you can just like, as long as he's able to push in the waves, you can just collapse on them without much fear of like them countering it.
Yeah. So Zadel's actually taunting in here onto Agent under the turret. He tanked about 3 or 4 turrets.
Keeping down 2 with ultimate. This should be a pretty good kill here. He flashes out, but Nathan's able to pick up the first blood onto Shen. Lawrence picks up the second kill. That's actually really good for us. We should be able to get first turret here and get a pretty sizable lead.
Yeah, we did this all without the Rumble as well. So that was just burning orange EP, and it's always good to make a play onto the Shen because obviously Shen ulting out is impossible if you're making the play onto the Shen. So really good 4v2 dive by Fox Academy, just using their bot pressure and just having TP advantage on orange.
We're going to lose quite a bit of our top turret, but that shouldn't be a big deal. We know that going into it when we use our TP this way. And Kale's losing out on all this minions mid. Overall, this is looking like it's going pretty well for a Fox.
I mean, as an Ornn, you don't really play for your lane. Like, losing your turret first is totally fine as long as you're able to make plays on the other side of the map. Like, Nintendo's just able to recognize, like, we're not going to win through me getting ahead. I just need to make plays around Lost and Yusui and, like, our other carry champions. Getting them ahead, that's what's going to win me the game.
Yeah, we just kind of have to rotate around.
Well, we see a Rumble.
That was such a good Rumble ult by Yusui. Holy shit.
I don't know if he's going to always has to blow the ignite to get the kill since he was overheated, but still,
I mean, he
really
just lined it in a way that like Blabber really had nowhere to flash. Like even if he flashes to his turret, which is what he did, like he's still getting hit by the Rumble.
Might be able to flash over the Wraith wall.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure he could have just walked up and flashed over the Raptor wall, but it's okay.
I mean, he was on the edge. Like I don't know if he was in range. He would have had to walk like slowly over the Rumble. I don't know. Regardless, like it was still a really good Rumble ult for me.
Yeah, no, that was good. One thing to keep in mind is Shiro did get a turret, not first turret, but did get a turret, solo gold. So the Riven is going to be pretty strong. He does have the ability to pop off in a team fight. So definitely need to mark him and make sure he doesn't open up on our backline because we've got some squishy champions in the backline.
Yeah, his flash cooldown is just going to be really important because like Riven with flash can like take over any team fight. But if his flash is down, it's going to be really hard for him to like play through Soraka silence and Ornn CC and stuff.
Yeah.
So what do you feel like Fox should do here to kind of push their lead even further and kind of cement their position in the game?
So we're pushing our bot lane pretty far. That's just because we want this dragon. But after we get this dragon, if we think we can take mid turret, then you just push out bot lane all the way, take control of that jungle with wards, and then you just rotate mid and get turret damage and just repeat that. You also have other options. You can put your dual lane mid and put Rumble bottom. It's probably the best option here to just make sure that this Riven isn't popping off too hard is to just keep the dual lane mid because then you always have mid pressure. Their dual lane isn't going to be able to leave mid to get jungle camps, so then your jungle is going to be able to move around the map, get all the jungle camps, and then this Riven's probably going to be stuck under turret, and then you can rotate top to get the turret.
We also, it's interesting to see that Kale's not finishing her jungle item. I feel like the jungle item on Kale here would be really strong. I mean, you get a lot of damage through the 4% of the maximum health of a champion. So I'm kind of interested to see why, or to know why he's not doing that.
Yeah, especially once you get Gwynzoo's, like you get 4%, then 8%, 4%, 8%. So it's pretty much like 6% max HP every auto. It's not even current HP, it's max HP.
Which is just insane.
That's pretty insane on Kale because you know that champion's going Gwynzoo's.
Yeah, and then with the Blood Boil on top of that, and lethal tempo, I mean, you're just going to have an insane amount of attack speed.
Yeah.
I feel like not going for that jungle item is possibly a mistake from Sneaky side here. But we'll see. We got somebody shouting out Think Card in the chat right now. Think Card is best card.
Great nomic. That's my boy Jeff. He's social media or he was social media for FlyQuest, or like manager for FlyQuest. Now he's community manager. So he does like all of their community stuff. And you know FlyQuest is all about community.
Yep.
Hashtag 5-hour energy.
So we were actually able to pick up Cloud Drake and the Rift Herald here, which is pretty good for our team. We should be able to use that to get the mid turret down most likely, and just kind of help open up this map for us. This matchup for Ornn doesn't seem like it's getting any better either. Now that Shiro's almost got her Black Cleaver on the Riven, I really feel like it's just a ticking time bomb for the point where she's just going to completely bully this Ornn out of the lane.
Yeah, I mean the great thing about Ornn though is like even if he's losing side lane, it's so easy for him to just like run mid and press R and make plays. This is probably going to be mid turret for us with the Rift Herald.
This is pretty standard usage for Rift Herald. You always just want to make sure that mid outer is gone, and then it gives you a lot of map control. So definitely good usage here. And if we can get 2 turrets, we still have Rumble ulti. I'd be surprised if we can get this. Oh, we're dropping Rumble ulti now. Yeah, this is actually looking really good for us.
We forced the Kale ulti out as well, and we were able to pick up the kill on the Nunu.
And we have another wave coming in, and pretty much with these 2 turrets gone, the rest of the game is really easy to play out. You just continually push in mid, and then you know you have numbers advantage top, and you just rotate top.
And as I see people are asking about it in the chat, they're asking if this is a bad CS lead from the mid lane. About this time right now, Kale should be approaching 200 CS if the gold funneling strat was going well. So she's considerably farther behind than you would expect.
Yeah, so like there are obviously super strats that farm at different rates. Like Kai'Sa's gonna grow really fast. Zyra Khan doesn't grow as fast just because you don't have like the mid pressure, but you're like more relying on like team fights and like they can't dive you because you're Zyra Khan. I'm not too sure about the Kale Nunu. I feel like they have really good clear speed. So it's just the Rumble and Graves pressure allowing them to counter jungle and get this, pretty much stop this Kale from growing. He's only up 20 CS. That's like almost as much Riven is up in top lane. That's really not much.
Yeah, getting these towers too, I feel like their super is like pretty doomed because like they can't really like do the power farming through mid in their jungle as much because like since we have both the mid turrets, we're able to just like push up and get vision in their jungle, like not even let them clear that themselves. And like another thing about the super comps is like you're kind of down a carrier, like an impactful player later on, like the Nunu and the Nunu is just gonna be kind of useless compared to Graves. So like the fact that we're able to get a lead early is pretty good.
I still think you have to respect the point though, where when Kale gets that 2 or 3 item spike, she's going to be a terror to deal with. And like we said earlier, we don't really have CC to stop that. So it's something we have to talk about and think. Like there is that kind of ticking time bomb of eventually we're going to get outscaled here and it's going to be really hard.
I mean, yeah, I mean eventually we might get outscaled, but they also have like no wave clear and we have a huge lead. And like if we just walk up to a turret, throw down Lucian calling Rumble ult, and like just press R basically, like they're going to kind of have to forfeit it. They don't really have any engage besides like Rumble flash engage with like a Shen ult or something. It's just like, it's pretty hard for them to execute and come back, I feel.
Riven needs like a good flank and we kind of have to like run into Kale and kind of die. So the game's definitely in our hands, but once again, like they do have like Ezreal Kale, so it's not the worst thing in the world for them. Just them losing those mid turrets, just so much map control gone. That's a really good kill on Keith because now you're going to be able to get 2 turrets top.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of just playing this game out pretty smart right now, just going through lane.
Yeah, they did the standard thing. It's just go mid and use numbers advantage top. They obviously didn't push in mid as far as they could have. Like since they're 2 turrets down mid lane, you can really push that like all the way into that 3rd turret. And then when you rotate top, you know you have numbers advantage and they won't be able to counter push. Like this counter push is just because you didn't push that extra wave.
We actually see them trying to dive Ornn in the bottom lane here. But they use the scrying orb to scatter it out, and they're going to be able to just give up the turret, and Nintendo will be able to stay safe.
Yeah, it's smart by Nintendo to back up and recognize that we're just trading sides of the map. He should be completely fine losing these turrets. We're just taking over the game on the other side of the map.
Yeah, this is good by both teams though. This was pretty much Cloud9's ideal reaction, which is we're losing top no matter what. We're probably not going to be able to get mid turret here. Let's go bottom. Hopefully he stays under turret. Fox realizes this. Nintendo backs up, turret for turret trade, and not too bad in the end. We just got that extra kill on Ezreal pretty much.
Do you feel like that's something that Sneaky brings to this team, that kind of veteranship in him, that he's able to like help salvage these situations with him?
Yeah, Sneaky's definitely calm and collected in game. He's been playing this game for 5 years. You know he's not psyching himself out. He can keep everyone like thinking logically and like keep everyone with a game plan. So he's definitely good for mentality for this team.
And one thing to note too, we were talking that Sneaky was only up 20 CS. He's almost up 40 CS now. We really haven't been farming on this Rumble, whereas Sneaky still has been farming. So Fox really does need to be careful about that. And we actually do see he has picked up his jungle item too now. So he did decide to go for that. He just wanted to get the Rage Blades first, which is fair.
Yeah,
makes sense.
That's kind of a stylistic choice. A lot of supers in Korea also go for the Gunzus first. Honestly, both seem fine to me. It's not going to make that big of a difference. The jungle item's obviously going to help clear jungle. It's going to help you don't have to stack up the Rage Blade, so it's going to give you like immediately some more power. But Gwynz's is always good to have, especially once you get 6 stacks. It's going to be the superior item. So it's just a stylistic thing.
Especially when you add in the extra multiplier from Nunu's Blood Boil. He's going to be really strong, really fast once this item is completed.
Yeah. So C9 are kind of putting this Ezreal mid now. Ezreal's just a champion that likes to be mid lane just because you have the range. It usually gives you mid priority. So I'm curious what they end up doing with his Kale. If they're throwing the super into a side lane, he's not going to be able to grow as fast, but they will have more map control with the Ezreal. So
it's going to be pretty hard for C9 to get map priority though, just given the mid turret difference. We have our T1, they don't even have their T2, so it's going to be pretty hard for them to push out and get much of an advantage like we are able to.
Lost is going in here. That was a really good culling onto Sneaky. He's pushing out their super lane pretty much by himself. And we're going to have mid pressure here, so maybe we'll be able to get a trade out of this.
Just see a little bit of trading in the bot lane here with the Riven. Nothing really crazy right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of a tough game for Nintendo, but I mean, he's just being a role player for the team.
Yeah, he's doing his job.
Yeah, he's doing his job. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like losing to the Riven 1v1. It's just that like he's had to give up stuff because we're playing to the other side of the map. So
yeah, exactly.
So Nintendo's definitely like doing his job well. He has 0 deaths on Orange, getting 0 pressure. It's just all on Lost and the other side of the map to be doing their job well, which they have been.
And we see now too, they're just trying to choke the enemy team out of vision. As soon as Baron spawns, we want to be able to have full vision of their red side jungle. So that way they have to face check us, which is pretty good from the Academy guys to recognize that.
Yeah. C9's actually doing a really good job of not letting this snowball. They're only down 2,000 gold at 18 minutes, considering how far this game seemed gone when they lost their bot turret first and they lost the 2 turrets mid. It seemed like they were kind of just going to crumble through our pressure, but they're stalling out this game really well. So I do think we're going to be able to see how these team comps interact with each other when they have items. So I'm honestly not entirely sure which team's going to come out ahead. It seems like it's mostly going to be pre-fight positioning that determines like who pops off and what team takes it.
Well, we see decent Rumble ulti here, forcing the flash out of Nunu. We should be able to take him down. That's going to help us get a lot of that map pressure back and just kind of fix that snowballing issue you were just talking about us having.
Yeah, it seems like this Nunu is just kind of like overconfident. Blabber's probably pretty used to playing like real jungle Nunu, where like you're like this huge tanky monster, like they can't really die, but like if you're playing Nunu in a super comp, you're like weaker than a support. Like you're so squishy.
It's 19 minutes. You have one item that gives any stats pretty much.
I mean, we saw the same thing with Darbuck in the LCS last weekend too. He's playing Sejuani, and you see some of those fights, he'd go in and he was just not recognizing the fact maybe that he's a no-item Sejuani running in against an enemy team.
It's hard. Like people think that like, oh, you're just gonna be the super bitch pretty much and just walk on the map and just be next to them, but it's really hard to play these champions when you don't have money. It's all about decision making, and if you make one mistake, you die. So it's definitely not easy to be the Nunu or be the Sejuani in these comps.
We got somebody here asking who's casting this currently. My name is Jim Morrison. I'm the head analyst for Echo Fox. And I'm joined by Josh Mabry, our positional coach for Echo Fox, and Thomas Thinkhard, the strategic coach for Echo Fox.
So yeah, we're pushing this all the way into this turret. This is definitely a good play for us. We're going to have a lot of map control. Orange tanking a little bit. They want to protect the minions so that they get more damage on the turret.
And breaking this turret before Baron is a really big deal too.
That was a really good calling that lost. The Kale is popping off here. That's actually insane.
Yep.
I mean, that's just what happens. Like you overextend a little bit, and Kale just mows you down in 3 autos. They got a little overconfident.
I've never seen that before. The Ornn ulti and just run away so you can't even headbutt it back.
And Shiro's able to come in too and clean up Nintendo with a flash.
Just like that, it looks like C9 might be able to get Baron control and look to start it.
That was definitely just Sneaky saw his opening and he just flashed and he was able to take down Lost, and they knew they were going to be able to chase down more. That is just a veteran move by Sneaky to be.
I mean, I feel like we have to emphasize like how small of a little window. Like Lost literally stayed for like 1 extra.
Ooh, that Rumble ulti actually picking up the Nunu, and he's able to kill the Riven. That's really big
Graves is here.
Kale has the smite.
Sneaky does get the smite.
Oh, and they actually kill everybody on Echo Fox here.
This Kale is insanely strong.
Yeah. I mean, she hit that 2-item spike like we were talking about with Blood Boil. It happens, and now she's 3 items.
What is happening?
This game is going to be terrifying from Echo Fox.
Sneaky literally just turned the game around like in a split second by recognizing one opportunity to kill Lost.
Yeah. Did he have 6 stacks before he flashed in? He had to have.
Yeah, I think he was like clearing the way.
Well, this game is in an interesting spot now.
It's going to be pretty hard for us now, I feel like.
The team with Baron has a lot of turrets they can take. So that's usually not ideal. So a lot of times in like Korea when SKT was really good, like all the turrets would be up, they'd win one fight, take Baron, and they'd be able to take like 6 turrets. So I'm kind of afraid this is what's going to happen with C9 here. They got this Baron, they already took 1 turret, and all 3 inner turrets are still up, right? Yep. So, I don't know, we really have to stop this bleeding. Maybe go for just a rumble engage. Kale has no flash now, so maybe just engage on him, try to burn the ulti, and just kill him through it. I don't know.
Riven also has no flash. He used it in the last fight we had there too, so that might be like a little bit of a...
But the thing is, like in this situation, they have Baron and they're sieging. Our defense is we have to go on them, like, but we can't go on them because the kill is huge, and if we funnel into kill, everyone's gonna die instantly.
And Ezreal's already hit his 2 core as well, so Ezreal's really strong. It's not even like if you go all in on kill, then you pop off, like you're good, because they still have a Riven, they still have an Ezreal.
Not the greatest rumble ulti there, but we see Echo Fox
we got
trying
the
to make something
kill.
happen.
Kill could die here, maybe.
I mean, one thing that Echo Fox has going for them is C9 Siege isn't that great. Aside from Ezreal, they don't really have anybody who can push down these turrets very well.
Yeah, it pretty much all is split push pressure, which, I mean, we did the only thing we could do. I think we handled this pretty well. We engaged on the kill, pushed him back, burned his ulti. You're going to lose a turret off of that just because they have Baron. But now, if you do start a fight, like the Kale can actually die. This Kale has no flash. So now we really have to pull this Ornn up there and Ornn ulti this Kale. That is pretty much our only move here. If this Ornn is bottom, I think we're going to lose all of our turrets.
So real quickly, Thomas, I got a question here from chat. How did C9 manage to stop their bleeding 10 to 15 minutes into this game, or was this more of Fox failing to snowball their lead?
So C9 did a really good job of establishing defensive vision. Pretty much it's up to the enemy team, so it's up to Fox to be able to use their pressure and like push in a champion all the way to their turret. So then when you rotate to another lane, you know you have numbers advantage.
Well, we see actually a pretty good pick here almost on Sneaky.
Yeah,
they're able to
do
take him
get
down.
Sneaky here.
That's exactly what Echo Fox needs to try and get themselves just to salvage the situation. Unfortunately, Shiro's in the bot lane, already taking down the bottom inhibitor.
Yeah, this is pretty much the way that C9 Academy needs to play out the Baron. They did it really well. If they can get to the point where all 3 lanes are pushing in, look at our team comp, we're not going to be able to fight without all 5 champions. So we have to all move to like 1 lane, or move 4 of them to 1 lane to try to get a kill, and then the other lanes are going to be able to get a kill. So pretty good play by C9, and we kind of did the response that we had to do. So both teams played that as well as they could have in my mind.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you touched on it a bit, like about the question in the chat, but like, yeah, the vision was good, and then like they were able to trade objectives. Like every time we took a turret, they were C9 and Sneaky were able to take turrets like in mid and bot as well.
Yeah. The big thing was definitely, like after we lost the 2 turrets mid, when we took top turret, they were able to respond with bot turret.
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
that could have easily been a situation where C9, they tried to like send their the people mid like top to try to stop the bleeding and not get an objective in return, but they kept their calm and they were able to trade objectives, keep the money even, and like a 3K gold lead at 10 minutes versus a 3K gold lead at 20 minutes, that's way different. Like 3K gold lead at 20 minutes is not much.
It was also slightly a little bit like overextending from Echo Fox to try and push down that inhibitor turret so early on at 20 minutes. It's a pretty crucial time in the game, and you're really exposing yourself to a pretty good flank from the Riven. We actually see an engage here from Ornn. That's a really great ult.
Here, actually.
That's actually huge. We're able to kill Sneaky before he gets his ultimate off.
That was
ideal.
I wonder how much we can even get here. What are the death timers at?
I mean, Shiro's still in the bot lane, so I would expect that he's probably going to try and push that inhibitor, or maybe he's going to just recall the help Keith.
The call might be to try to end here. It's a little ambitious. 24 seconds on Zazel. Kale's a lot more. I think
Kale's
we just
about
get in
30 seconds. We might actually be able to push an end here.
This is one of those calls.
You have to stick with whatever you go for too.
We hesitated to get out.
Yeah.
I mean, that was still really good for us. Like the Ornn ult onto Shark Silence is just huge, and that's kind of what I was talking about before. Like if Kale is not ulting while he gets Ornn ulted, like it's so easy just to throw Shark Silence and like he's gonna die in the Ornn ult essentially. Yeah. Like he has to ult that.
That was a really good play in general. Just hit the CC on Kale, and we actually have so much burst damage that you can one-shot that Kale in 1.5 second knockup from Ornn. So really well played. That's all set up. You need to be able to get the vision down and plan that ahead of time. So
and this Rumble is 7-1-2. I mean, he's about to have a death cap finished. He's still really strong. We haven't really touched on the carries from Echo Fox, but going into a rumble like this, the equalizer is just going to completely melt the enemy team.
Yeah, Kale can only save himself. Like, if you get 2 or 3 people with the Ornn ulti, the rumble ulti, even if the Kale gets his ulti off, is going to pretty much kill the other people. So this rumble is definitely really strong, no Zhonya's, so he can get one shot as well. Kind of a glass cannon.
This Riven pick's been kind of interesting this game. It hasn't really had a huge impact. It's just been kind of a split push champion they've been using.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of an impact though, like especially like in sieging situations. Like we don't have a lot of range to siege or turret, so we need 2 lanes to be pushing. And Riven will always have pressure against the Ornn, so that's just like another pressure point for their team.
Well, I was going to ask, how do you feel like she'll do in a situation where we force a fight as a whole? Like, how do you think that Riven will do into our comp?
Riven,
with the Ornn ult and the Rumble ult, it might be a little difficult for her, and the silence.
The
from
silence,
Soraka.
I think, is the key.
I mean,
I think if Soraka like uses silence, like, how do you think it's gonna work out?
Well, like that's the thing. Like Ornn ult can only go one way. Like if they have to use Ornn ult and Soraka silence to kill the Kale, then Riven comes from a side and doesn't have to worry about anything.
I feel like the Ornn ulti kind of has to go on the Kale, and if you like stack the, like you said, onto that Kale.
Well, we're actually looking for a flank right here. Nintendo using his TP.
Go for
like we might try and go for Ezreal. Force the flash out of Ezreal.
Getting his flash is pretty good. Ornn ulti cooldown is not too long. This is a problem though.
Shiro is still just continuing to push that ball.
Yeah,
and we have no TP now. We're kind of forcing ourselves into this
and
situation
we can't start this turn. This is just a really bad
TP. We should base. 100% base.
I mean,
we're gonna have
Riven
to
is just going to end the game here unless somebody goes back.
Oh god.
That TP might have actually caused more issues for our team.
This is like
not like this.
Yeah, this is like checkmate in League of Legends basically. Like we have no good option. Like we leave, they get Baron, but if we stay, they end the game.
You see the Rumble ulti and Rumble flashing in forward towards the enemy team. We're able to kill Izzle. That's pretty big. However, Shiro is just ending the game on his own. Nintendo can't stop this. That's game, guys.
Yeah, this is painful.
There's nothing we can do to stop this at this point.
Wait, this?
No, there's no way we stop this Riven in time.
You're so confident, but the game was over.
Oh my god.
So at the end of the day, the Riven ended up just being what they needed, I guess. Just split put Shiro.
I told you the Riven pick is OP, man.
That's too
crazy. Those positions are really hard to play out because the
Ornn
is not able to push out the Riven by himself. So in order to get out of that position, like a minute and a half before Baron spawns, you have to like 2-man push out that lane so that the Ornn can come to the Baron. And then even so, you still only have like 30 seconds to a minute to do something.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if we show 2 bot, like Kale, Nunu is just gonna tear Baron to shreds. Like, they're not gonna mind strategy in front of everyone.
I think that was an insanely hard position. Like, I'm not surprised that's how the game ended. It just sucks, like emotionally and mentally, for a game to end like that.
Yeah. But it was really well played by C9 to put us into that situation, right? They knew full well what was gonna happen. Either we get Baron or we win the game.
Yeah, they played it out really well. Pretty much, I think mid game and late game, they played it out insanely well. They had like the Riven bot lane. They don't have a response for that. He was able to push it out all the way, and then, yeah, they're able to TP in and take the Nexus. We had no good response. The only thing we can do is just like have 2 or 3 people base, and hopefully Graves can steal like a 20-80 Baron.
Do you think it was a mistake from Nintendo to TP in the way he did, aggressively trying to look for that pick on Ezreal?
I mean, maybe he went a little too early, but like he's gonna lose the side lane eventually.
Because the way that the bot lane was positioned, they definitely had to try to do something or go for just a Baron steal. Like those are their 2 options. So I think it was fine for them to go for that. It's just like C9 played it well. It's obviously in C9's hand at that point. If C9 messes up, say they all move towards the Ornn because they don't see TP, we're having a different conversation here where like, oh, that was a really good TP play. So I think it was good to look for.
All right, so game's over. Things were crazy. I want to thank you for coming down here to cast this game with us. It was great having you. Do you want to shout out where people can find you and hear more about you?
Just my Twitter is @lawthinkard. I don't really stream much. I'm looking maybe to make a little more video content. Not too sure yet, but thanks for tuning in. Had a lot of fun casting. Thanks you guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
And hopefully we'll see some crazy things from you this weekend at the LCS. So right now we're going to work on getting our AD carry from the Academy team Lost in here so we can talk to him. Real quickly, just to remind everybody, our new Twitter @EchoFoxLaw. Go there, follow us, and leave a question if you want to try and ask Lawrence something. The hashtag is #AskEchoFox. Real quickly, Josh, just one more thing I want to ask about that game. What do you, like in that situation, what's going through your mind as a player when you get put into a situation where you have to make that split decision, is it super panicked or?
I mean, at Baron.
Yeah, the Baron and just the abrupt ending where like you have somebody split pushing really hard in the bot lane like that.
I mean, it's really hard because, like I said, like it's like checkmate. Like you have no winning option there. If you back off, they're gonna get Baron for free. But like you're going to everyone in everyone's head, like you feel like you're gonna lose the fight anyway. So I think the best thing is just like pull a gun and like try to make a fight happen and hope they misplay. Because like at that point, you're really just in a losing situation.
And comms get pretty crazy in those situations too, right? Everybody's kind of getting flustered and they really feel like they have to make something happen.
I mean, especially like since they used Ornal on Ezreal, like that's the one tool they have to kill the Kayle. Like if you don't have Ornal, like what is Kayle scared of? He's just gonna get Soraka silence, but you can just walk out of it. They have no CC for him.
Yep. So real quickly here, we now have Lawrence, aka Lost, joining us here. How are you doing? Congrats on the win. Unfortunate on the loss.
Kind of sucks that we lost considering we had like such a huge lead hitting into mid game, but I feel like we gave them too much breathing room after we took out all their outer turrets. But then we made that really bad blunder at mid, and we gave them an opening back into the game, and that's just more accelerated because of the super comp. So yeah, it just sucks to suck.
You guys had a pretty good lead though to start off that with your Lucian play. You seemed like you're really comfortable in that. You're a big fan of Lucian, right? You said you used to play it a lot in the OPL, or what was that?
I do like Lucian, but against their comp it was hella hard because I can't really auto trade with any of them. They had Kayle, like I'm not gonna get in range of Israel most of the time, and our engage is solely like on Ornn or like a Rumble ult that I can probably just run out of. So all I'm really useful for is R.
Yeah,
or like
you
a WR
have to play the game perfectly.
or like or a WR combo. Maybe I could have gone rapid fire to get autos in, but I don't feel too effective that game, that's for sure.
So before we go all too deep into that last game, tell us a little bit about the first game. You guys had a really, really good game. The dive kind of turned things around. Talk about how that dive really just was the catalyst for you guys.
I think it's just really impossible for them to dive us because we had TK Kai'Sa and they had Ali Brand, so there's like no way they're gonna one-shot either of us, and if either of us don't get one-shot, then there's no way their dive's gonna happen. So the fact that they couldn't get that off just made it so hard for them to play the game out.
Yeah, how do you feel about the bot lane matchup the first game? Because I feel like that should be really hard for you guys, but you're able to get like a 15 CS lead in the early game.
I feel like the matchup could be good if Ali gets combo off on me, but they kept comboing TK, so I got free trades on both Brand and TK. And I just got like a free laning phase, so yeah, I guess we should have been punished more so on that.
All right, we got some Twitter questions in here for you. First one from Milotic PC. What are your opinions on the 8.13 patch, especially when it comes to AD carry and bot lane? Do you still think Kai'Sa will be such a high priority pick?
I think Kai'Sa is good if Lucian's down, because I think it's probably blindable. That's debatable, but yeah. I think 8.13 is not that bad. I'm happy playing Vlad, I'm happy playing other AP champions. It just brings more diversity to bot, and you know, champs like that are hella fun. So in my opinion, I'm kind of enjoying the patch overall.
And then to quickly extend off that, another Twitter question we got here from Bravo Skulls. Do you think the nerf to Guinsoo's will play a big play into that as well?
Yeah, for sure. The fact that they're gonna nerf Guinsoo's and buff a lot of the crit items, I think they're reducing the gold on some of it. I guess they're trying to reintroduce crit 80 carries back into meta. I think they're buffing a bunch of champions like Twitch and Triss too. So I guess they're just going back over on that switch.
Yeah, there were a lot of big AD ratios being changed for those champions, like the explosive charge and the contaminate from Twitch. So that'll be really interesting. In the next question we got here from General Pancake, Inero has mentioned that the LCS team can get very heated during scrims. What are the academy scrims like with Peter? Are they also heated? Are they more chill? Just how is it in general?
The academy team functions pretty differently from main roster, that's for sure. We're definitely less like go ham wise. We function as a team of like solely team play and just like macro decisions. We don't really like have a insane player that we just play off every game. Say for example, Huni has like main roster has Dardoch and Huni, and they're just like really good in their respective roles. So they can play off micro into macro because they can test what they can do. But for us, we're just like learning the fundamentals and whatnot, and we're playing off that.
And then you were talking about some of the LCS players. You've actually been playing with Adrian this split. Do you want to just talk a little bit about how that is and how do you feel working with Adrian?
It feels good working with Adrian. It just puts less work on me because I don't have to make as many calls or whatnot in mid-game because Adrian can do that for me. And Adrian's just a lot more experienced, so that brings more to the table for me to improve too. So I'm pretty happy playing with Adrian, and it's been good so far.
And then what about Nintendo and Yasui? Previous to this, you guys were working with Alorum and Diamante.
Yeah.
How does that kind of just change the dynamic for your team and going into the split from last?
A lot of other teams have kept like the majority of their players, I think, and for us, bringing in 2 new rookies just makes it so we have like a larger or like a longer ramp-up time for us to get back to the position we were before, because we just have to like relearn and restructure how we are and synergize. So it's more of a time thing, but I'm sure we can get back to the spot we were at last split.
Yeah, I mean, you guys showed a lot of really good play today, so I'm sure you guys are working towards that. I know you've been putting in a lot of hard work, so I'm excited to see how you guys are able to improve and keep going. I want to thank you for coming down for this interview, Lost. It's great always having one of you guys come in afterwards and just kind of get your thoughts on the games. I'd offer you some pizza if you'd like some pizza. It's a little cold, but you know, Josh over here really enjoyed it. So if you want some pizza, go for it, bro.
I'm good, dude. I'm good.
You're good? All right.
I'm a hard pass on that one.
Okay. I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out to watch our streams. We know it's a doubleheader, it's a lot of time here, but really excited that everybody came down. Thank you very much for all your questions. Make sure you follow our Twitter at EchoFoxLol. You want to just say your goodbyes and where people can follow you, Josh?
Oh yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed our cast. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Josh Mabry Baby. And yeah, thanks again for watching.
Tomorrow, our guys will go up against Optic Academy at 6 p.m. Make sure you tune into that. We also have our LCS match playing against Team Liquid on Saturday. It'll be the deciding match for first place. So that's going to be a pretty big and exciting match to see how things go as the first place and third place team kind of battle it out. Otherwise, I'm Jim Morrison, head analyst for EchoFox. You can follow me at Venerian on Twitter. It was great being here, really enjoy it. And I'm going to leave you guys with this video we've got to finish things out. See you. Hello, I'm Jim Morrison, head analyst for EchoFox. We're here at the EchoFox headquarters going over our new weekly segment, Coach's Corner, where we're going to break down the plays from this previous weekend's LCS matches. This week, we're going to be breaking down Johnny's Battlemere play. He was one of the few AD carries this week that was playing the bruiser/mage style that's become popular. So we're going to go in depth into how he did Saturday and Sunday and how he ended up being able to carry us out through a win on Sunday. So if we look here, we see Huni and Dardoch have pushed the wave in and they're looking to start a dive onto the enemy team. Both teams are running super comps, so the match was a little different, a little weird, but we ended up having a really good opportunity here to really spring ourselves forward and get further ahead since we were kind of ahead at this point. So if you play the clip, you can see we've got Johnny and Fang on their way up from the bot lane. Huni and Dardoch pushing in towards the turret and they're getting ready to dive here. Huni initiates it with his stun and Dardoch throws in his ult. Johnny comes in for a flank and he preps his E, he flashes in, but he hourglasses unfortunately. Had Johnny not hourglassed in this moment, he would have been able to throw down his ultimate and all 3 of these guys that are back here, there would have been a lot more pressure on them to be able to push so far forward and it would have been a lot easier for us to clean up this fight. So now if we play it through, we see that it ends up going pretty poorly now. The rest of our team has to back up. Everybody's kind of low because of this. We don't really have the same pressure that the Vladimir was supposed to bring to that fight due to the mistake, and it really ends up hurting us and losing us the fight, which ultimately gives Optic the Baron here. Here we have a clip from our Sunday match against Golden Guardians, where we ended up coming out victorious. At this point, EchoFox is actually in a pretty rough situation. Fang has just been caught out by Golden Guardians. They now have full control of the Baron area and are looking to posture and take Baron. Camille's coming up behind us, and our 2 guys, Altec and Phoenix, while they're looking to clear the mid wave, they're actually putting themselves in a really bad spot because of the fact that they're now flanked by Camille. And if we play out the fight here, we see Phoenix ends up actually getting caught out through the enemy team collapsing on him. Camille throws the ultimate down and they force out his hourglass while Huni and Johnny try and zone them backwards. However, when they realize they're not going to be able to save Phoenix, Johnny immediately backs up, waiting for his 3rd empowered Q. He charges up his E, he moves forward, gets a huge Hemoplague on 3 people, and comes back here with the empowered Q to clean up Contracts and Lorlo, pretty much single-handedly carrying this fight and ultimately getting us Baron and winning the game. This has been Coach's Corner. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure you tune in next week to see more big plays from our LCS players.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe EchoFox on social media, and stay tuned for more League of Legends action.